Now these are the keys under the flat signatures. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 7 keys here, 7 keys under the sharp key signature. So most of what I've explained also applies here. So these are the keys: key F, key B, key E, key A, key D, key G, and key C. So, but like I mentioned earlier, that the C under the key sharp key is not called ordinary C, it's called C sharp, or the one we refer to the one which is enharmonic is D flat. In this case too, there's also an exemption. Now this F here, we don't say because we're under flat, or you saw flats and you call it F flat. Actually, you may remember when we were doing our, if you watched our video on the keyboard setting, there's no, the distance between E and F is a semitone. So there's no way you can flatten F. If you say F flat, that means we are talking of E major, which is another key entirely. So we don't say F flat, we call it F major. So don't call this one F flat. In principle, there's nothing like F flat. And this one too, C flat. Don't say C flat, because C flat is also the same thing as B. Because under our keyboard setting, if you still remember, B and C, E and F, the distance between those two, called natural semitones, there is nothing in between them. They are just semitones apart. So you can't flatten or sharpen them. Or sharpen as, let me recap: E and F, B and C. The distance between these two are semitones. So if you say F flat, you remember flat, a flat reduces a note by a semitone. So when you say F flat, you are referring to key E major, which is another thing entirely. It's the one that has 4 sharp signatures. And if you say C flat, that means you are flattening C by a semitone. You arrive at B, which is another key entirely. So that's why this two is called F major, and then this one is called C flat. So let's proceed. This one is another name for B. Remember I told you 15 keys in theory, but 12 in principle, because of enharmonics. So if you call this one F flat, you are also refer to it as E major. So let's move on. So these are the signs that tells you what key. This is just a mnemonics to remember the keys. These are the actual keys. F stands for faith, B for becomes, E for easy, and on like that. You can develop your own mnemonics so you can remember the keys. If you see one flat sign, it means the song is on key F.
Continue.
If you see one flat sign, it means the song is on key F, on and on like that. Then, the flattened or affected keys. It also works in 2 ways, like the other one we discussed in sharp key signatures. It's for the scale. For example, if you want to run the scale of F, it means under the scale of F, one key is flattened. For those of you playing other instrument, whether keyboard or any other key, to get the scale of F, to get your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, that's the diatonic scale. Your do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do on any key. For example, on the key F, only one key is affected. And what is the name of that key? That means when you want to play key F, you must not press B, you must press or play B flat. So to get your key F, we have F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So instead of pressing a B, you flatten it. So this will give you do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, your chromatic diatonic scale. The same thing applies. This is key B flat now. It has to, on the scale of B flat, 2 keys are to be flattened, and they are key B and key E. Like I said, if you follow the principle of tones and semitones, which to get your scale we have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. If you follow this principle too, you are going to arrive at your correct scale. But this also works. Number 2, it also tells us how these signatures are arranged or apportioned on our staff. You don't just draw them anyhow. Now, this one sign is drawn on B, line of space. Every good boy. So you start from the middle here, unlike the sharp that start from F. So if it is B flat, it has 2 signatures, and they are to be drawn on B and E. So remember, you always start from the middle. For B flat, we have B. From there, you go up F A C E. This is the second space. For the third one, where I will stop, then you continue yourself. If it has 3 signatures, how do we apportion it? Will be the third space, E up, the fourth space, and then you come down. A. That's the second. So this is how it is arranged. You can continue and finish up for the other keys. So that's about. Now let's quickly look at the last key series. I told us it was in 3 sections. So we have to consider the sharp key signature, the flat key signature. Let's look at the natural key signature. Under the natural key signature, there is no flat, there is no sharp. So once you see a staff that has no sharp or flat, the key of that song is key C natural. So it doesn't have a flat or a sharp. That's key C natural. So that's about key signature. Finally, let's look at accidentals. Accidentals are signs, flat and sharp, other than our key signatures that occur before notes, which alter the pitch. When I say pitch, pitch is the highness or lowness of a sound. So these signs, when you are driving a car or you are walking gently on a road and you mistakenly hit your leg on a stone, your tone will change because there's an accident. An accident has occurred. So in music too, when you are singing do re mi fa sol la si do, something can happen that will come across your note before your note that will change your tone. So we refer to them as accidents or accidentals rather. So we have 5 of them or thereabouts. Some of them we have mentioned earlier. So number 1, we have sharp accidental. We have flat accidental. Excuse me. We have sharp accidental, flat accidental, double flat accidental, double sharp accidental, and the natural accidental. So let's take them one after the other. Sharp accidental, it increases a note by a tone. Sharp always increases. Sharp accidental increases a note by a tone. And the symbol is, this is not our key signature. Key signature is written at the beginning of a piece of music, immediately after our clef. But this one, it occurs before a note to alter the pitch of that note. Take for instance, so we have our key signature to be G, K, G. And by the virtue of our key being on G, where can we get letter G here? Every good. So that means our do will start from here. Because the song is on key G, we look for where we can get letter G. That will be our first, the root of our music, our do. So because it's on key G, every good. So this is our do here. The space will be re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Line and space just like that. Then coming down would be do, ti, la, so, va, on and on like that. Good. So let's assume we have a note here. Now, you see, this is do. If you transcribe it, do. This is supposed to be a do, but before a do, an accidental has occurred. Our do will definitely change to D because it will increase. So we don't call this one do because of accidental, we call it D. So this is the effect of the accidental. Re becomes re, fa becomes fi, so becomes zi, la becomes li, do, di, re, ri, fa, vi, so, zi, la, li. That's the effect of sharp accidental. Then we look at flat accidental. Flat accidental decreases a note by a semitone. Now let's use this as our example because of time. Now, this is still the same key G. This is our do here. This is our T. A flat reduces a note by a semitone. So let's transcribe this. This is our do. This is our T. Now, this is also supposed to be a T, but an accident has occurred. What type of accidental? Flat accidental, thereby reducing our T to to. So we have to. Then here we have la. Do, ti, la. Then this is supposed to be la too. Then we have a flat accidental. So it becomes lo. So that's what flat accidental does. Then let's look at the third one, double sharp, which is not very common. And then we have the double flat. The double sharp is written as X symbol, whereas the double flat is written two flats. A double sharp increases a note by a tone, whereas a double flat reduces a note by a tone. Take note of the differences. Sharp increases a note by a semitone, double sharp by a tone. Flat reduces a note by a semitone, double flat by a full tone. Good. So how does this work? We have learned about tones and semitones before now. So if, for example, now let's use key G, or let's use key D this time around. Key D, where can we get key D? Every good boy decides. This is our do. Do, the higher one. Do. Now, we also have our do here. And then we have a double accidental sign here. Do. So what does this become? Remember, it's a full accidental, a full tone accidental. That's double sharp. So what does this become? It becomes re. Because between do, if you add a full tone to your do, we'll get to re automatically. If it is half tone, it becomes D. So we have do, di, re. So half to your do is D, a semitone, while a full tone is the next alphabet. Because the distance between your first note and your second note is a tone. So it just increases a note by a full tone naturally. So that's the work of natural accidental. Whereas if it is double flat, it does the same thing. So if you have something like this here, so we have do, this is our la, then we have, this is la, then it's also supposed to be la, but it's reduced by a full tone, so we have so. If it were to be a flat accidental which reduces a note by a semitone, it will be lo. But now we have, it will become so because it is double accidental. Although this type of accidents are not very common, but they are very possible for you to see them. And then the final one is what we call the natural accidental, and it is drawn this way. This one restores a note to its original position. When a note has been affected by accidental, whenever you see this sign, that means the effect of that accidental has been cancelled. That's the meaning of natural accidental when you see that on a piece of music. By the time we get into the practical aspects, when we are looking at pieces of music, we understand it much more better. So this brings us to the end of accidentals. Slurs and ties. This whether it's slur or a tie, they are chords. Both are chords used to join notes together. The only difference is that slurs are used to join two notes of different pitches together. When I mean pitch, I mean the highness or lowness of each of the notes. For example, now do, re, they are not the same. Re is higher than do, and just like that. Mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. So a slur or slurs join two notes. I mean notes, whether it can be more than one or two, it can be more than 2 or 3 or 4, as the case may be, of different. The emphasis on different pitches together. For example, now, what was the key to this song? No sharp, no flat, so it is key signature. The first thing, don't forget your key signature. Excuse me. So if we have a note here, so let's assume the time signature is 3/4. So when you have a curve joining these 3 notes together, this is mi, fa, sol, going by the key of the song. So we have mi, fa, sol, mi, fa, sol. So you see a curve joining them together. This is a slur. For those of us playing instruments, you play them under one breath. That's for those of us blowing. And if you are playing violin, you play these 3 notes with a stroke. So that's what we refer to as slur. It is slurred. Whereas tie, on the other hand, join notes of same pitches together. Same pitches. Let's use what's the key to this song is key F. This is key F by the key signature, by the signature on the piece. So let's assume we have if you observe, these 2 notes are in the same pitch, they are both in the same space or in the same line. This is a space. It's do. Now this one is 2 beats, this note is 1 beat, joined together. If you cast your mind back to when we did dotted notes, a dotted meaning gives you 3 beats. Now it's the same thing that's applied here. A meaning and a crotchet joined together, tied together to make it 1. So this note now, that is 2 plus 1, that's 3. So if the lyrics here is maybe, or the solfa here is do, your do will be 3 beats. This one is serving the purpose of a dotted note. So a tie is in most times functions as our dotted note. It joins a note of same pitches together to extend the value of that note. But those notes are 1. It makes them 1, it marries them together. That's the difference between a slur and a tie. So that brings us to the end of this class. Thank you.
It's so easy to forget the victories of the past and focus on the trials of the moment.